Hello, Sipsters. Welcome back to another episode of the Sippin' on Stories podcast with me, Mandy, your host. I'm so delighted that you're here. Did you catch what I called you? You guys, we did the poll this week on Instagram. I had a poll on Spotify as well that you could vote on if you wanted to do it there. And the winner was Sipsters. So that was fun. I ended up putting 8 different names on Instagram. And there were definitely ones that I liked more than other ones. And so it wasn't really stressful because, I really did like them all. But watching the votes come in and seeing where they were all going was fun and which one are they going to pick? But I'm happy that you guys ended up with Sipsters in the end. That is one of the ones that I liked probably the most. So I'm going to be going through all of my responses from when I asked you to come up with some name ideas and send out some drinks on me. Thank you. That was fun to have a little bit of interaction with you guys through that. So you are my Sipsters, and that is what you will be called from here on out. All right, for today, we have another multiple stories in one. And today's theme is being scammed. There are a few things more annoying than getting scam phone calls. I feel like there have been times when I get more than others, and I remember getting a cell phone finally, and it was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, like scam callers can't call me anymore. And then they found their way onto the cell phones, and it was so annoying, and I just hate them. But you always know that they're a scam when they're calling you, of course. But in today's stories, you will hear from some people where maybe they questioned whether it really was a scam. So we have first up Sloan and Josh. So Josh is actually the one that got the scam phone call, but it involved his wife Sloan. And it was crazy because they talked about this. I reached out and I was like, hey, you should tell this story on my podcast. And shortly after that, her TikTok where she had posted about it went viral, which I thought was really kind of fun for her. And well, she talks about it in her interview, so I'll just let her say it. Anyway, we have Sloan and Josh. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. A little tired today,
Good.
but good.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start by asking you both what your favorite drink is. You're my first 2-person on one interview, so this is going to be interesting.
All right.
But I have to ask you both what your favorite drink is.
This one.
What is that? Is it an energy drink?
It is.
Mhm.
It is. I'm so tired today. But the C4 purple. What is it even called? Grape.
Mm.
Grape popsicle.
Never tried it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I think Diet Mountain Dew is my
Your
go-to.
go-to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Okay, well, I don't know how you guys want to start. If Josh, you want to give your side, and then Sloan, you give your side, or vice versa. If you want to do it together, I'm really open to both of those ideas. So Sloan and Josh are going to tell us about something that happened just very recently when they almost got scammed. So, yeah, I'll just let you take it away.
Okay.
Yeah. Come in a little closer here. So it was probably about 2 weeks ago now.
It was 3-ish.
3 weeks ago now. I was just working from home in my office, and I got a call from Sloan's phone number, and her picture and everything popped up on my cell phone. And so I answered it. And when I first answered, I could hear just a woman's voice whimpering in the background. and immediately kind of puts you in a state of panic. But I was asking like, oh, what's wrong? What happened? I thought she'd been injured or something else terrible had happened. And then I could kind of hear a man's voice in the background. And I was thinking she's been in like a car crash or something, and this guy is maybe trying to help her. And then the man gets on the phone and basically just says, I have your wife, and if you don't cooperate, I'm going to shoot her. And so already kind of in this state of panic, it heightens, right? That's like the worst fear. I've had a lot of people say like, oh, you handled it so calmly and so well. And I'm like, no, I did not. Like, I was terrified. I mean, it really was like the scariest thing ever.
Were you at work or were you at home?
So I was working from home,
Okay.
And so I mentioned in the video that just a couple of weeks ago I'd listened to Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, who was an FBI negotiator, and he had talked about how if you're ever in a situation like this, you basically just stall as long as you can, and so that was kind of my thought process, just to like keep asking questions, to like stall. And this guy is, he's acting very angry and swearing, and is like, I swear if you're messing around with me, I'm going to kill her. And he's like, and you can't contact anybody or I'm going to kill her. And meanwhile, the first thing I did was look on my phone because I could see where her phone was at last. Yeah. And it was at the hospital, which our son had an allergy appointment, and but it's in like the basement, and so a lot of times you'll lose service there. And so I was like, okay, this is where she was last, but she could have lost service there. And so I immediately texted. We have thankfully a friend who's in the FBI, and while I'm on the phone with this guy, I'm texting this friend and saying, like, what do I do? This guy says he has her. He tried calling me, but I couldn't hang up on the guy at this point. And so I was just texting him where it showed she was at, and he said, well, there's this thing called virtual kidnapping, and if he really has her, he's going to show proof of life. And so you've got to figure out if she's actually there with him. And meanwhile, he's telling me like, oh, you need to pay me with like PayPal or Zelle.
How much was he asking for?
He never asked, never gave me a number. And I almost think he was waiting to see like how much I had in my account or something, and then going to ask for it. And I knew because he wasn't asking for a number that's probably what his plan was. So I mean, if it ever got to the point where I was considering paying him, I was going to lie. Like I was going to tell him, there's only like $100.
Yeah.
So. And so basically it was just stalling, like, well, how am I going to be able to pay you? And he's like, use PayPal. I'm like, I don't have a PayPal account. He's like, use Zelle. And I was like, I don't know what that is, which was a lie. I was just, trying to stall. And so, just basically asking him, like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? That's just kind of what I kept doing. And then that's where I started asking him, like, well, if you want the money, you've got to prove to me that she's there with you. And he started getting more angry and swearing and like, I'm just going to shoot her. And then I realized that like, if this were somebody real, they would want the money and they would want to show proof of life. And so that's when I realized if he does want money, I'm going to hang up on him and call back and he's going to answer. And if it is a scam, he's not going to answer because, it's not actually my wife's phone that he's calling from. So that's what I did. It had been about 5 minutes that I've been on the phone with this guy at this point, and I hung up and called, and thankfully Sloan answered the phone because I would have been in a panic if she didn't. But she answered like everything was normal, and I was like out of breath and like, oh my gosh. yeah. So so that was pretty scary 5 minutes, but yeah.
How did you know the FBI agent that you reached out
Uh,
to?
just know him from church,
Oh.
and so and he did ask it. I asked him like, is there anything you want me to say? He's like, well, first of all, make sure I stay anonymous. So he didn't want anybody to know. But he said that in these situations, the right thing to do is, again, just stall. Take as much time as you can. So sometimes these things can go on for like hours. And he said that now they're even using like AI to mimic people's voice. So you should have some sort of like keyword or phrase or something that only your loved one would know, so that if they are using some sort of AI to mimic a person's voice, that you know what that keyword is, and that person would know. So
yeah, man, that would be terrifying. Yeah. Okay, Sloan. So say your side of that experience.
My side is really boring compared to his.
Well, he is the one that had the phone call, but still.
Yeah, literally, we were just in the doctor's waiting room, and I get a call from Josh, and I've never heard him like this, because he's definitely the less, or the non-dramatic one in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I'm the dramatic one. So I heard him. He's just like out of breath, and he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And or something like that. I honestly don't even remember. I think he was saying, "Are you okay?" And for some reason, my first thought was something had happened to Maddox, because I had Decker,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking something bad happened, because I could hear him like running or going crazy, and I was just like, man, something. So it put me on alert. I said, yeah, I'm fine. Like, what's wrong? And then he explained the situation to me, and I was like, what? We had never heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that this was a thing. I guess after my video went viral on TikTok, a lot of people commented and were like, yeah, this has happened to me. Yeah, this has happened to me. This has happened to me. And so I guess it's not a new thing. It's been happening forever. It was the first time we had ever heard about it, though. But yeah, I was kind of freaking out. And so after the appointment, I went home, and he was still pretty shaken. And I think we were pretty shook, him especially, pretty shaken up for several days at least, and just kind of on edge and stressed, and that's pretty much my whole side, and nothing too crazy compared to his, but I think he did handle it well. He says he doesn't, but I don't think he gives himself enough credit. I think he handled it way better than I would have.
I feel like I would have gone into like fight or flight and not known what to do, and like panicked. So trying to stall,
I think I would have paid
texting
them.
or being like, okay, yeah, I know. I talked to Britt because I was telling him, and he was just like, oh, well, I think you would know it was a scam. I'm like, no, because it's your phone number. I'm like, if someone called me from your phone number, like, how would I not believe them? Like, it's so weird. And I've had it happen to me. I don't know why they were calling, but somebody called me from someone's phone number and I missed it. And I think it was, I don't know, probably some scam guy calling. But I called him back and I was like, you just called me. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't. And I'm like, okay. So I knew like in that moment that people can spoof phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And I've had like a couple of things happen to other people where phone numbers have been spoofed. But I don't understand how they can do that. Like, how do they get that number to where even like it's your picture coming up on the phone? It's weird. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think the guy knew your name as well, right?
Really?
He did, and he called me Joshua, which also is just kind of weird because that's not what my name is on her phone, and not what I normally go by. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what record did he use to find out that my name was Joshua? And so,
did he have like an American accent? What did he sound like?
Yeah. So I had no reason to believe he wasn't American. Which is, I feel like, even scarier, right? And yeah, it's tough to say, where he still could have been out of the country, but yeah, I didn't think that he was not American in any way.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me how long it took for you to like recoup after that, because that's what I was wondering. I feel like it would be hard, even though it was only 5 minutes. It was a very real 5 minutes,
Well, and what's funny is, so the appointment that we were at, it was like our weekly allergy shot appointment. We go there every single week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have it as like a recurring thing in my phone. And Josh said like several weeks after, like every time he would see pop up that he had allergy shots, like it would like make his heart skip a beat.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
And it still does, which is dumb. Like, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, and the first few times actually, it was like a week that I would get a phone call. If the person wouldn't start talking right away, I would go on edge. I would be like, all right, this is a scam call. Like, at least I was like prepared for it. And every time you would call me, I remember the kids called me from your phone one time, and Maddox never pays attention when he makes a phone call. So like he calls me and then like goes about what he's doing, right? And there's just like, I hear the TV on in the background and like no one's talking. And I like stopped my car and I was like, all right, I'm prepared for this. And it was seriously weeks. It took weeks to get over that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And that didn't even happen to me.
But kind of. What was that like for it that video to go viral for you, Sloan? I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, crazy. I think it's at like 22 million views.
Oh my gosh.
Which I know. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that it went viral because, again, a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, we know about this. But I think just as many people as said that were saying, like, I've never heard of this. And I think had we known, I didn't even know phone spoofing was a thing. Mm-hmm. And had we known, maybe we would have been a little bit more prepared. But I'm glad, and especially now our parents know. I know had they called our family or parents that they just would have paid him.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is if it weren't someone that's older, I'm sure they would have fallen for a lot easier. Which is, I'm sure it's happened to people, which is sad to think about.
Yeah, and I feel like, I've gotten the calls before, like, oh, there's a warrant out for your arrest, or you pay this ticket, and you're automatically like, okay, this is fake. But
like, I'm not a bad person. I don't have a warrant for my arrest.
Right. But it was different because, again, it was coming from her number, and and I didn't know it was a thing, and so I think that's why this is an extra level of scary. And like some of the people were saying that they've had it happen before, and they said that they have used like AI to mimic somebody's voice. It's that's even scarier because that puts it at a whole another level of fear and trying to figure out if it's real. But I think, again, if you're ever in a situation like this, you just stall as long as you can and remember that if that person really does want money, like you take as much time and get as much information as you can, because they're not going to want to hang up or give up, because they know that if they don't have the person, that the time is not going to help them out, right? So you stall as long as you can, and then they get more aggressive. And then if they do have somebody that you care about, they're going to want to prove it, and so the more that they can prove it, it gives them a higher likelihood of actually getting money. So if it's true and it's real, then again, get as much proof and information as you can.
And have a code word, have a family code word.
Yeah, that's a really good tip to have. I love AI, but man, it can really cause some scary things, that's for sure. But those are all great tips, and hopefully if it happens to anybody else, they can get in that frame of thinking and not just, start panicking. Yeah, Josh, I think you did a great job.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that story. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
So I'm obviously curious if this has happened to anybody else. It does sound so rattling. Like I said, I was talking about it with my husband, and I would like to think that I would know it was a scam, but it seems legit when they're calling from your phone number. I don't get how people are okay with doing this. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, so there was Sloan and Josh. Next up, we have Cindy telling us her story of a scam phone call that she received. And I thought it was pretty funny in the end. So here is Cindy, a little bit about her. So it involves her and her husband. She is 68 and her husband Gary is 80. So when I was talking to Sloan and Josh about how, like, oh, when they call these like older people, like how easy it would be for them to believe that it is a scam. And so I think it's fitting that my next guest is someone a little bit older. So here is Cindy. Are you there?
I am.
Oh, good. You figured it out.
Well, I wasn't sure if I was there or not. I just kept hitting buttons till something happened.
Well, it worked eventually, so it all worked out fine. Thank you for coming on. This is exciting, and I'm glad that you could come on so fast. When you said it could be today, I was like, oh, that works out great, actually. Okay, Cindy, I have to ask you the same question I ask all my, I was about to say customers, my guests, which is, what is your favorite drink?
Well, I drink ice.
Just ice, no water?
Yeah, black raspberry ice. It's called ice. I'm but diabetic, so it's a zero sugar drink.
Yes,
but
okay.
It still has flavor. That's the one thing.
At first I was like, I mean, you could just suck on plain ice, but no. Yeah, the ice drinks, I know what you're talking about. Those are good. I like those.
Yeah, those are really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm ever feeling like doing something a little bit different, I like that they still have like the carbonation to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like those. Okay, Cindy. So go ahead and tell us your scam story.
Well, I think I scammed myself, but let's figure that out. I was at home one day. It was in the middle of summer, and Gary was downstairs showering, and the phone rang, and this man said, "You have just won $18 million and a car." And I was like, yeah, right. None of us believe that stuff. But he just kept going on, and finally I said to him, I said, well, if this is true, you can't possibly be in the office by yourself giving out $18 million. I said, I want to talk to somebody else in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And he hesitated for a minute, and then he comes back, and let me see if I can do this. He said, hello. And he asked me what I wanted, and I knew it was him just doing a woman's voice.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he said, no, this is true. This is really true. So he said, I'll need to have your husband on the phone also. So I went downstairs and I hollered in at Gary and I said, this is what's going on. This guy said we won the Publishers Clearinghouse. We all have heard that people do win that. Just isn't anybody we know.
No.
And I said, we haven't even sent any of those in for 15 years? And Gary said to me, I sent one in 6 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, really? Well, that kind of upped it about 2%,
Yeah.
And so anyway, he came up and the man called him on his phone. So he's got both of us on separate phones, but we're here in the kitchen talking to each other. And he said that Gary had to go over to Walmart. They had some certificates there that he had to pick up, but only one of us could go to Walmart because they might be bringing the car and the money, and one of us needed to stay home for that.
Of course.
So I'm going to stay home and I'm surprised Gary went for it at all. But Gary says he'll go over to Walmart, and just as he's getting ready to leave, I said, Gary, I don't feel very safe with this, that he knows that I'm here alone and you're gone.
Because
I just don't feel very.
You've given them your address, I'm assuming.
Gosh, I don't know that we did.
Oh.
I guess we thought we did. I can't remember that part now.
Uh-huh.
But so anyway, I said, would you kind of go around the neighborhood and find somebody to come over here and be with me. And he said he would. But then he's on his phone, so I have no idea what he's doing out there. I just know I'm here. And I thought, I don't want to be caught in this house by myself if somebody comes to the door and tries to break in. So I went out back and I saw, oh, there's zucchini in the garden. So I picked some zucchini and I thought, I cannot jump this fence if somebody came out back here. I'm just not capable of jumping this fence. So I thought, well, I'll go out the gate and go down the alley to this next house that's behind it. It's about 150 feet down to the end of our property. And I'll go down there, and I knocked on their doors. Nobody answered. Nobody was anywhere. So I came back around where I'm on their side of our fence, and there's a lilac bush there. And I'm kind of looking at my house, and all of a sudden, a man jumped out of my back door. And he said, "Where are you? I can't find you anywhere." Oh my gosh, I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, panic.
He had straggly hair. He had one of those sweatshirts with the arms cut out, and big work boots and scraggly pants. Oh my gosh,
Scary.
I went to the ground. I went right to the ground. Zucchini were flying everywhere. My heart was just a pumping. It does, even when I tell the story, it kind of gets me a little flustered.
I'm sure.
But he came back in the house. I picked up my zucchini and I went on the other side of the neighbor's house. And there's a small roadway that goes down through there. And I saw a car coming and I was waving at him, "Please stop." But I had that stupid zucchini in my hand, so he was not going to stop. I didn't think about it at the very moment,
Yeah.
that he probably thought I was trying to give him zucchini.
Yeah.
So anyway, I came back to the fence and that man came out again and he said, "I've looked for you everywhere. I cannot find you." And I was like, oh my gosh. So he came back in. So I started to walk down the alley and thought I'll come back around the front of my house. And I saw this orange beat up car out front. I mean, it was a beater car. And just as I got kind of almost to my property end, that man came jumping out of the front door and he said, "I'm Bill, Gary's friend." I ran to him. I put my arms around his arm. I said, "Bill, I'm so glad you're here." Bill, they call him Wild Bill.
A little rough.
For a reason. And he has a few little things that aren't quite up to par, with his thinking. He had no idea why he was over here. He only knew that Gary asked him to come over and check on me. And he thought maybe I was hurt in the house or something. I'm thinking
crawling around the
some kind of
backyard.
a stranger. Anyway, I said, "Oh, Bill, the guy's still on the phone and we are not allowed to talk to anybody." He said, it's all supposed to be a big surprise until we get you the check and do the hoopla thing. So he's still on the line, And I said, "Oh, Bill, I know you came for raspberries, but Gary's not here right now." And Bill's going, "Huh?"
Yes. Like, what are you talking about?
He came and sat on the porch with me. In the meantime, when Gary was gone, he went to about 10 houses in our neighborhood. What we learned that day is there is nobody home during the day.
Yeah.
And he happened to circle around the church, and there was Wild Bill just coming out to his car. And so he nabbed him, and he didn't have much time left, So he nabbed him and told him, what he needed. And the guy kept kept on the phone with Gary and saying, "What's taking you so long?" And Gary said, "There's a train. We have trains here. We have trains, right, Mandy?"
Oh, yeah. Yep, right by your house.
Yeah, and he said, "There's a train. I have to wait for a train," because he had to give an excuse why it was taking him so long. But anyway, that guy was saying, "Well, I need the numbers off those Visa cards." That's what they were, is Visa cards. And Gary said, "Well, I'm not giving you those numbers until the car keys to the car is in my hand."
Of course.
Oh, that guy was really mad. But that guy has no idea the scam that we pulled on ourselves. I just, I have to laugh because really that guy has no idea. He was trying to scam us, but he has no idea that we did it to ourselves
Yeah.
by having Wild Bill come over.
Yeah, scaring you on
I
your
don't
own.
really know Bill. I don't know Bill very well.
Uh-huh.
So I would have never recognized him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's the story.
So Gary went to Walmart and got the gift certificates, correct?
Yes, the Visa
Of
cards.
the Visa cards.
Visa cards.
How much money were they asking for on those?
Two $500 ones.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't give them the numbers.
Oh, we had never planned on it. No,
Yeah.
Gary had never planned on it.
Mm-hmm.
He went over there to see what it was all about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but he had never planned on giving him those cards or the numbers.
So how did you
And
guys
the
end
guy,
up finishing that phone call with the guy that was, going to give you a car? And
oh, Gary just hung up on
he
him.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, he just hung up on him. And when Gary came home and found out all that was going on here at the house, he just hung up on him.
Yeah.
You know, we both did.
Well, that is funny.
But
And now having a picture of you just on the ground with your zucchinis hiding from this man.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I had that feeling inside of me that you're not safe here.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went outside and I thought, no, you're still not safe here. So I went down to the neighbors and, I don't know, would I have been worried if Bill would have come over here while I was here? I don't know. If he'd have told me he was Gary's friend Bill, then I would have known who he was.
Yeah.
But for him to he just got on the back porch and he yelled out, I could hear him clear down there 150 feet.
Yeah.
He's going, where are you? I can't find you anywhere. Oh my gosh, I dropped to my knees. I just was like I was shaking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad you didn't have like a heart attack. That would have been bad.
Yeah, really. And so then I knocked on the neighbor's windows some more, and they weren't home.
Yep.
But I'll never forget the look on that guy's face when I was trying to flag him down.
With the
And
zucchini.
he just smiled at me and drove on.
You're like, I am being attacked here. I need your help. Yeah.
Oh, it was funny though. I mean, it was a funny story.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, nobody got hurt, and so.
And you kept your money from your Visa cards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been using it to get my hair done, get my nails done. Every time I go, I use one of those cards.
Yeah, good. It's like you're not even have to pay for it because it's already on the card. It's free.
It's free money. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for telling that. I laughed the first time you told it, and I'm laughing again because it's just, I wish there could have been like a camera watching you.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'll tell you, it was a scary. I have to tell you, it was one of the scariest moments of my life.
I can
really.
imagine, yeah. Because even
when
if
that man came out of my house, yeah.
Yeah, because even if it wasn't happening, like in your mind, it was. This guy was coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, to get you while Gary was gone. So
it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I was right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There was somebody coming after.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
I tried to remember all of the things that was in the story. Tanya said, don't forget to tell her how you called me and said we're going to be rich. I go, Tanya, the man never let me get off the phone. I couldn't have called you.
But she believes that you did?
She remembers that she thought she was going to be rich. But I did when they first called us. When somebody calls you like that, you think to yourself, oh, who can I help?
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is a lot of money. Of course, you don't need that much money. So you're thinking, who can I help? Okay, Tanya and Edwin, Aaron and Aileen, our daughters, and our granddaughter. Okay, that's who we can help. And no, we can send money to the humanitarian center because we love helping them. And, there's just lots of people you can help.
Yeah.
And that's what goes through your mind. Well, even when you're thinking, this is
it's
a
not
scam.
Real. But what if it's not? Well, the fact that he had just entered the Publishers Clearinghouse makes you, like you said, upped it like 2%. There could have been a little bit of you that says, oh, yeah, I really could help people with this money and get a new car.
Yeah. Well, when Gary said that, I was like, I was shocked. Oh my gosh, really? You did? Because they're calling us right now.
Him and the girl version of him were both telling me that we won.
Oh, I'll never forget when that guy did the female voice. I said, there must be somebody else there that has listened to this story with you. I mean,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that's helping you because nobody's going to give out $18 million and be in
By
the office
themselves.
by themselves.
Yeah, no.
So, so he was caught off guard and he hesitated and then he came back and he went,
And
hello.
he clearly thought that it worked because you stayed on the phone for a while. He probably was so proud of
um,
himself.
I was just laughing inside when he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really wouldn't have believed it if Gary hadn't have said he entered one.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that definitely added a little bit of intrigue, I feel like, to
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a good night. This was fun. Bye, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Mhm.
Bye.
Do you agree that Cindy was just so cute? So Cindy is actually my childhood best friend Tanya, who was on the podcast. Her episode was the one where she gave her gardener CPR. So if you have not yet listened to that episode, go ahead and do that. So Cindy is her mom, and she is just so cute. We met up recently, and it was the first time that I'd seen, well, Tanya and her mom for quite some time. And it was just so fun. Cindy was like a second mother to me as a child. We went on vacation together. Like, we have a lot of like really funny memories together of like being on vacation and just, yeah, the fun that we would have. I have a lot of good memories with that family. So being with Cindy, when she originally told me this story, I was just like dying laughing. And I just am like, this is the Cindy that I remember. She's just so cute and happy and funny. And anyway, so it was fun to talk to her again and hear the story again. I was able to like envision when she was talking about like being in her backyard. I have been in her backyard, so it was easy for me to envision that. It was just a really funny sight in my mind. So I hope that none of you get these terrible scam phone calls. And if you do, that you do not believe them. I appreciated the tips that Josh and Sloan gave as well from their FBI friend, including having a like code word to have between you and your spouse. That was a really good idea, and hopefully I remember to do that so that if I ever get one of these calls, I already have that in place. But I really just hope that I don't, and I really hope that none of you do either. AI can be so fun, but man, things like this make me like, ugh, can also be scary sometimes. Okay, well, I hope that you all have a wonderful, fun week. I myself have some really fun things coming up this week that I will report back, probably not next week's episode, but the week after, to let you know what I have been up to. We'll talk to you again next week for another episode, the Sippin' on Stories podcast. Goodbye.